Do we have any questions or conflicts that we have come up against that we want to discuss? I'll ask again because Tanya just came in. Any topics of conversations or questions that we want to start with, address, touch on? Anything come up?
Hey, yeah, I have a question. Um, so there was a debate about how movies cater to what the culture wants today. So I had a philosophical question on, I got three from it, but do people shape culture more, or does culture shape what people think they want?
That's such a good one. Do people shape culture or does culture shape people? Do you want to start there or do you want to put them all out?
Oh, I'll keep going if you want. And then another question was, can authenticity survive when success depends upon approval
Mm,
from the masses?
good one.
And then to second off that one is like if the crowd always decides what succeeds, who decides what the crowd desires in the first place?
All right, way to start us up. It's funny that you say that because off camera we were just talking about how accommodating like schools have gotten to every single student and their issues. And it's like that was never the point. And so to your point about catering and culture and do people shape culture or does culture shape people? I think, well, before I think anything, what do we think? Anyone want to open us up in some thoughts?
I think that people shapes the culture first, but then it becomes culture for the next generation.
Honestly, I think that so much of culture is actually shaped by the market, which is like the business trends, and that is influenced by people. I didn't realize until I started studying business about a decade ago how much everything is a business. Everything is trying to get in your wallet. Everything is marketing. Everything is buy this thing, spend money on this thing, come to my school, come to my town, buy my house, every single thing. And so, really, I tend to think more than almost anything, the market shapes the culture. And so, marketing is part of that. You need this product, right? And like I was thinking about it today and I was like, I have a hard time personally because I'm like, why aren't people who like consume and produce pornography and OnlyFans sexual content, why are they not like getting felonies? Like this is prostitution. Okay, this is prostitution. And so like if I can have a felony and a sex offense for sending a picture, then in my head I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with it. Everybody sending these pictures has a sexual offense now. Everybody is sexually offensive, right? And so my thing all the time is, well, what makes the money? And so culture, because now it's like everywhere you look, there's like nude people and like half clothed, barely clothed people everywhere all the time. And culture's allowed that. And it's because there's a market for it. Like we've had brothels because there's a market for it. And so I think it kind of goes a little bit to the question of do people shape culture or does culture shape people? I think people shape the market and the market shapes the culture. This is where my line of thinking is with it. The protein companies are making bank. Why? Who decided we needed so much more protein? Who tells us what to wear? Or even that millennial do side, do a side part, but kids now want a middle part. It goes on and on and on. Right. And so much of it is what sells. Like it's literally like what sells. And how can I manipulate the people into thinking they need it? And so the people making products, consumerism is a cult. Consumerist mentality, I should say, is a cult mentality. Consumerism is, it's not necessarily, we're all consumers. Everyone's consuming things. We people are very much taking things in, consuming all the time. And then the good people are giving back to reciprocity. A lot of people are just consuming, taking. We got a lot of takers, quite frankly. But yeah, I would say people who make products, people who are trying to sometimes manipulate the masses, also sometimes inform or help the masses. I mean, there are good products out there. I'm not saying there's not. But it's the people who are trying to find gaps. Like nobody knew that they needed Wi-Fi and computers until someone saw a gap and was like, "Hey, we need a better way to communicate with each other. Let's come up with this thing." Nobody knew you needed cars instead of horses until people were like, "Hey, we have this technology. We can start making cars." And so it's really, people who are making products and needing to sell them find a way to sell them a lot of the time. Consumerism is neutral. Technology is neutral. Money is neutral. We attach meaning to it. When it becomes absolute, it absolutely does become idolatry. Um, or when it's the thing you're reaching for instead of the Lord, it becomes idolatry. Really. That's really the definition of idolatry is anything that comes before the Lord is idolatry. So it's a means, right, for coping. I was having this conversation with someone the other day because they were talking about how they were hurting, they didn't feel good, they needed to take a pill. And I'm like, you should be reaching for the Lord, okay, not for the pill. Take the pill after. Reach for the Lord first, right? And it really is that we go to the coping mechanisms, we go to the crutches. And so I think you're right, Tanya. I think people definitely shape culture, but I really think people make and market products, and products shape culture. I think that's how we get a lot of technological advancements. I think that's how we get changes in clothing. I think that's how we get fashion, quote unquote fashion, what's fashionable. Um, and so to the point that you made about like catering to what the culture wants, I think it's almost like I think the mentality is almost you people are too dumb to know what you want. Here's what I have, and I'm gonna make you want it. Like that's actually kind of how I feel like it is, overwhelmingly. Um, I think it might have been Steve Jobs who were like, the people don't know what they want. I'll tell them what they want. I think it might be Steve Jobs who had like a mentality like that too, actually. And I can see it. I can see it. It is a little bit of megalomaniac stuff. And also find the lie because look at here we are 20 years later. Everybody's got an iPhone. Everybody's got an iMac. Everybody's got an iPad. Everybody had an iPod. Like a little sheep to the slaughter. So I think that people with means, people with intellect, people with vision make products and services, market them, and shapes the culture. And you guys are welcome to disagree with that, of course. We're just philosophizing here.
Well, when someone doesn't, they literally kill them, like for the most part, like in a big, great way, right? Like I'm thinking of, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm thinking of it in a too small of a way, actually.
Well, not necessarily, right? Like, let's take the kind of conspiracies, right? The Titanic sinking, 1913, 1912. The main people who were against a Federal Reserve banking system were on the Titanic and they
Yep.
died. And then the next year, the Federal Reserve happened, right? So, one. Uh, let's look at 9/11, right? They took out a huge insurance policy on the towers and then they collapsed. Big payday. Right? Like we can look at the conspiracy of the like 13 people who were working on alternative fueling and they all just happened to die. And most of them said, "Hey, I'm not suicidal. If I die, it's I was murdered." Right? So if you try to make waves, like even if you try to make a product that can help counteract in a like true way, if it goes against the mainstream mass production, and I don't know if this is the point you're getting to, Abe, so I could be wrong here, but I do see a parallel to whatever it is you're saying. Like, yes, that does happen on a sort of big enough, global enough scale. It very much so does happen. Right. They don't want to shift the scales out of their favor. Um, Kevin Trudeau is one of the people that I really like as far as like sort of blue blood wealth exposing. If you ever heard of Kevin Trudeau, and he was in the sort of secret societies and like made it up to a lot of things, then he ended up kind of talking about it. And what ended up happening is like they threw him in like this whole thing happened and they threw him in jail. They took his money. Um, and now he's like he's out, and he's kind of like he's still doing it, but like they did the same thing I think with Ken Hovind is his name. He's theological. Some kind of ridiculous thing got him thrown in jail, and he technically has like two felonies, and he like didn't actually even do the crimes that they. Um, and I mean, even Trump, they tried to hit him with 34 counts of some nonsense, and it was really just every time a Cash App transaction basically went through, but it's not Cash App, but it's like it's the same equivalent of if I sent you 34 Cash Apps that I didn't report, now I have 34 and 34 marks of what I didn't do, right? It's just people will, yes, yes. You cannot be too loud. You cannot go against the way things are too much when it impacts the pockets, purses, and influence of the people who are making kind of the rules. I don't know if you guys have heard about the ticks that have been released. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
And it's really I think Joe Rogan was just talking about it, but it's like now there's this strain of tick out that will make you the Lone Star tick, that's the one, thank you, yes. Makes you allergic to red meat. And then of course Bill Gates has a this is it imposter meat, impossible meat, right? And they said farmers are just finding boxes of these ticks like on their property. And it's like, can former be cast out? Like you are gonna do what I say you're gonna do. It is gonna happen, whether you want it or not. And it is gonna benefit me. And you are gonna suffer for it, and I don't care. That is very much a thing. So I wish it was so straightforward as do people shape culture or does culture shape people? I think it is far more manipulative than that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And I think that it always kind of has been. Um, I think some countries are more straightforward about it than others, to be honest with you, you know? Um, and I almost think I have more respect for the places that are just straightforward about it. They're not lying about it, right? They're just like, we own you and you're not going to do a lot of things, you know? Um, versus something like the United States is like, oh, you have freedom of choice, you have democracy. Hmm.
Well,
So, go ahead.
in Kentucky, where I live, Thomas Massey, had a view that was radically different than everybody else. He worked with the other party, Ro Kohana, about the Epstein files, and they spent I forgot how much, and he lost because he stood alone on the Epstein files and all of that, and they threw everything, and it's just sad because he really had I mean, he appears to have good intentions about wanting everything exposed, but
Right. Right. And politics is well again, politics, education, religion,
yes.
and the economy. Those are the things that is really and then the subset of healthcare, right? But yeah, I mean it is we see it more in those places. Um, I saw clips of an interview with Elon today talking about AI in the very near future, like 3 to 7 years from now. It's not exactly on topic, but how will that shape culture in our near future? How is it shaping it now? You know what? I'll be so honest. The coaching culture, like coaching has been around, but it's really cracked open since COVID, right? When I started coaching back in 2020, COVID really cracked the space open. It was like it made it so perfectly acceptable to have Zoom calls, right? And and I have noticed now there was a lot of teaching on marketing and graphics and Canva and all these things. And now all I see is these coaches, quote, quote, coaches, who are using AI for their graphics and AI for their content. And I'm like, you're literally just copying and pasting. Like you have nothing of value to add here. Like all I had to do was type this in, I would have gotten the same thing. And so already, like, that's just like my industry of coaching. That's not even all the other industries, right? And so, AI is people already don't think. We're about to really find out people not thinking for themselves. Right. They're prepping the audience. They're dropping the interviews to prepare us to let us know what's coming. Um, It is, it is. And the thing is, predictive programming is so real. People are really so easy to manipulate. I don't know if you've ever studied psychology. People are the easiest thing in the whole world to manipulate. Literally the easiest thing. They're so easy. All you do is like inundate them with fear messages for 2 months, and that's it. So easy. And they have no idea. It's just like sheep led to the slaughter. And and yeah, it is. I mean, predictive programming is very real. Um, like peer pressure, cultural pressure is very real. Um, and so AI, I heard something somewhere. It was like, if the product is free, you're the product. And I was like, yep. Like they rolled out AI. Look at how they do it, right? They rolled out AI free. Everybody starts using it. Then you can only use so much, and then you get the paid version, right? And then it's just like, but now you're kind of hooked on it, so you upgrade to the paid version. And this is the way you get programmed to do what they want you to do and spend money where they want you to spend it, and it
I
is
was
privilege.
telling my niece today, sorry, Michelina, I was telling Faith today, we were talking about how much everything is just going up. I bought this certain vehicle because of the gas mileage and how, and I said, I mean, we're almost to the point of the movie The Lorax to where you are charged for, you're literally all the taxes and just everything. And I mean, are they going to get to where they charge us for oxygen every day for the space that we take up? I mean, I don't know. It's just everything. It's just more and more money, charged to everything.
Right. I mean, and to be honest, we found a way to sell bottled water, right? Right. And like, and so it is really something that even when you're warned about it, right? The Bible warns us you're going to be paying a whole days of wages for a loaf of bread, right? The Bible tells us this. We knew it was coming, but even still, it doesn't necessarily prepare you for the hardship of it coming, right? We are in bondage, like we are in financial bondage, like we're in it, and it's only going to get worse. Like, don't think it won't. This is why I keep saying, like, do what you can to not rely on the systems. Like, they will pull it out from under you. You can't pay, you can't play. It's coming. We do live in a time that morals are less important than than the approval of the masses. Most people don't have morals. Most people don't have morals. Most people don't have morals. They don't know their values. I talk to people all day, every day about what they stand on and who they are. And I will tell you, most people have no idea. You get so many men, especially, who are like, oh, my family, I would die for them. You don't spend any time with them. You don't take care of your kids. Like, you don't, like, you go to work and pay money for them. Like, no, no. Right. It's just so many people do this game. Oh, what's the carbon tax?
We get it, I know, on flights heavily. Anything that emits carbon, even your house, we have an extra tax. I don't know the exact number of what it is, but it's ridiculous. And like they're just saying, like, if you're producing carbon, we're going to tax you on it, I guess, as a way to try to make things more green in Canada. Which, whatever. Like, get off your private jet then. Like, come on.
Right, right, right. Right. And that's the other thing too. Of course, it's I'm going to make these rules for you and I'm not going to abide by them. So all the way to the point of Tanya's point, do people shape culture or does culture shape people? People with money and means, I think, shape culture. And then we just fall in line and we call it culture. Rules for thee and not for me, right? Hypocrisy at its finest. And of course, the Lord will recompense it, but it's it's the Babylonian system way. It is when we're in it. So to your second really good question, can authenticity survive when success depends on the approval of the masses? Um,
Thought it was funny because you had to put a talk today about the cotton candy doctrine, and then I had that question already for this hour.
right, right, right. The way to go viral on TikTok is to lie to the people and tell them there's a rapture, tell them there's once saved, always saved, yeah. Um, and it is. People do like lies. It is very much the case. And so when you like lies, you swallow whatever you're fed. You don't think about it. But there's something interesting about authenticity, right? I wrote my dissertation on authentic leadership. I started my career as an authenticity coach before it was like popular. And so there is something to when you're fully, truly your authentic self, it vibrates at a higher level. Your truth, love, authenticity, they're like 4,000 hertz. They're very high. And so you're going to naturally attract people who like that. Right? Like look at Jesus. Jesus was the most authentic person we had. And and the multitudes flocked to him because it's in us to know that like, hey, this is something I want to be around, even if we can't name it. Right? Like when I was talking to you guys and I was like, hey, why did you come into the community? And so many people were like, I don't really know, but I knew I need to be in your space. Right? Like, and so it really does come down to authenticity can survive for sure. Does it necessarily thrive? Not always. A lot of people were like a little bit before their time, and the work or the thing that they didn't actually gain traction until the world opened up a bit for it. I think about like Emily Dickinson. I think about like even Oscar Wilde. Like Oscar Wilde is kind of a genius, and in his time, he was nefarious to say the least. So, but what do we think? Can authenticity survive when success depends on the approval of the masses?
I think it's longer lasting. It stays like it's true and authentic, so it stays and it's long time
Mm,
versus when you're doing everyone's approval, it's more like a fad or it's just gonna go away because there's gonna be a new thing that replaces it.
that's a good point. Right. It's less of a flash in the pan. Like when you really have it. I know people don't love this, but I'm going to bring up Taylor Swift anyway. Like she's authentic to herself. And she's been around for 25 years. And she's only 37. Like flash that to something like the Pussycat Dolls or like Jessica Simpson, right? What personality quiz? What authenticity? For whom?
You know that quiz that you have in the community, there's one for spiritual gifts, and then you have one for personality. I don't know the title of it, but you had to
Is it
kind
the
of,
values quiz?
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I've got a lot of quizzes here, Tara. Okay, I have a lot of quizzes, so I had to remember which one. I don't think it's 16 per. At first, I thought it was the personality 16, but I don't think it is. I think it's the values quiz because the values quiz has like success, authenticity,
Yeah.
family, peace. That one, right?
Yeah, that one. And it gives you like your top five, I think, maybe.
Right. Yeah, that's the values quiz.
Mine was authenticity, and I thought, oh, interesting. Now it helped me understand a little bit about myself, actually.
It should. I've had people who take the values quiz and it's completely not even close to like how they actually show up in the world. And then I say, okay, take this as if like just take this as if like nothing matters but your opinion, right? Like no circumstances, no nothing. And they get completely different value set. And I am not shocked if any of yours have authenticity in it because I am authentic. And therefore, part of the reason why you like me is because I am real. And so I'm not shocked at all if a lot of you have authenticity or honesty or growth mindedness or truth. Like those are all my top five values. And so I'm going to attract people who have that probably. At least then they value it to some degree. And so it really I think too, Tanya, to your point about can authenticity survive when success depends upon the approval of the masses? What do we define as success? Because, like, for me, success is being authentic. So I'm already winning whether the people like it or not. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care because, like, I win when I show up as myself and as the Lord calls me to show up. So I think if big ifs on how we're defining success here, I would not just define success as like fame. I don't think that's success. I think that's high levels of visibility. But I'll tell you what, like when I was infamous, I didn't feel very successful, quite frankly. But for a hot minute there, a lot of people knew my name and my face. Right? So I think that success depends also on how you define it. And I do think we have varying definitions of success. So to that point, what is success?
I think it depends on your goals too, right? Because
Right.
if you're an influencer that has zero money and your goal is to have money, then you're gonna appeal to the masses versus be authentic to yourself. Yeah.
Right. And you're actually, I saw someone, unfollow people who do that a lot because you're selling out, right? You sell out to sell out. And that happens all the time when you don't have anything to stand on. Um, Someone that I really respected and liked a lot in my like little TikTok community. I watched it happen. I watched it happen where this person went from a like cute, small, authentic business owner to an influencer, stay-at-home mom, bought a new house, like trying to like do the things, TikTok affiliate, shops, and I was like, ugh, like this isn't it now. Like I unfollowed them. I was like, this is not, I don't and they do, people do. And it is one of the like difficulties that often can come with being catapulted into a position that you don't have the character for, the sellout. There is an audience for everything if success is that to you. That's a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. Um, because there's just too many people in the world, right? Like, and now everybody's so close, just through the World Wide Web, right? So I think it's easier for authenticity to survive now than it would have been, say, like 100 years ago. 100 years ago, you want to be authentic, you're getting cast out. People would watch bird cams. I also am people. I think it's very fun to watch when the little birds pop up and like do the thing. People will do a lot of things. People will watch a lot of things. People will purchase a lot of weird things. People will do a lot of weird things. People will sell bodily functions and fluids in jars. That does happen. People will like buy, people, aka men, will buy like dirty socks that like a woman wore. I think I saw something one time where she literally was like finishing her workout and someone was like, "Hey, can I like pay you for your socks?" And she was like, "What?" Bath water? Right, right, right. Was that what, like Sydney Sweeney or like Sabrina Carpenter or something? Right, right,
I think it
right.
can go both ways because I remember there's this like sticker company. I think it's Sticker Mule is what they're called, and they on Instagram like publicly supported Trump, and a lot of people didn't like that, and they got a lot of flack for it, you know, but they also gained a lot. They gained a ton from that because people were wanted to support that, you know. So like that's why what I mean by there's an audience for literally anything,
Mhm.
and people might just like you because you say what you think you say, or
Right,
you say what you think,
right.
right? They might not agree, but they like that you do it anyway. Like
Mhm.
I like that, right? Like
Well, you can respect someone like that. You can respect someone that stands on their own business, even if you don't like the business. Like, even if you hate the business, you can still respect that they stand on it, right? Um, so I think authenticity can survive. I think it can thrive. I think it can transcend. I do. I guess I'm biased though, because like of course I do, right? Like Of course I do. Look at me, right? Like, of course I do. I don't, I'm not lowering the standard so that more people follow me or like me. Don't care, right? So I guess I'm a biased considerate. To that point too that you asked, if the crowd decides success, I don't know that the crowd does decide success for the most part. I think how easily you can sway the crowd decides success more than the crowd actually deciding.
The reason I was talking about that is because when you think about like movies, you get one dystopian hit. The next thing you know, it's a bunch of dystopian movies coming out. And then when the first one that doesn't get enough audience, it's all gone. No more. And then they go a different route. And then I was just talking about Marvel because with Marvel, they're saying that Marvel's IP went downhill. And because they were talking about DEI, and inclusivity. And I was saying that it's to appease to the masses. And then someone was saying that why can't it be just new stuff? I'm like, no, it's appeasing to the masses because what happened with Marvel was Wonder Woman came out, everyone went to go see Wonder Woman, and then all of a sudden they started putting all the women in front, and then they appeased it in Endgame when they put all the women characters together, superheroes, and to show women empowerment. So, and that's because they noticed what the trends were outside. So let me just think about movies wise. Yeah, back to marketing and trends.
Right? It's always marketing. Like I don't even know the people who market the best. It is a very valuable skill to have. And I say that as someone who doesn't have it. I don't have a great marketing skill. I'm not very good at it. I don't market. I just show up. Like I don't market well. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. And I do everything the opposite of what you're supposed to do, quite frankly. I hate when people double back on stuff and apologize for fear of being canceled. I guess I can understand. I think there's a time and a place to double back, right? Like there's a time and a place to double back, and there's a time and a place to double down. I'll give you two examples of this, right? Cracker Barrel, when they rebranded, nobody wanted it. It was awful. Instant backlash. And Cracker Barrel, it was maybe like 4 days, was like, we are going to stop the rebrand. I'm sure they put so much money into that rebrand, and the crowd was like, no. And that's like you misread your market. Like you misread the signs. Like just because everybody else is updating, the thing people like about Cracker Barrel is that you are like homey, right? You have to know your audience. And so that was a time I think to double back and they did a good job on it. Whereas like Buick when they updated their marketing from like basically like old people cars to like kind of sleeker, nicer models, and they doubled down and their marketing was superb and their new models are awesome. And the whole marketing tactic where they double down was, oh, you have a Buick? And it's like, that's like a grandpa's car. And then like this sleek thing comes up and it's like, that's not your grandpa's car. And it was is brilliant. And they upgraded their whole model and it worked. Right. So like all that to say that you do need to stay true to your brand a lot of the time because your brand is your identity as like a company. Like your company brand is your identity. And sometimes you have to shift with the times. And it's very hard to know when and where to do that. Yeah, what was the Bud Light controversy?
It was I think they had an advertisement or like a promotion where they put that trans person, oh, it was his
Transgender.
Her
Mm.
Dylan
Was it
Mulvaney.
Yes. Yeah, that's who it was.
And I'm like, who are you selling to? Mostly blue collar dudes that are like nitty gritty, you know? I'm like, that was a terrible, terrible choice of marketing, right? Like, you know, just the nature of your product, you know?
Right. And actually, what people don't realize is there's a difference between marketing and shifting your brand identity. Those are two different things. Marketing is supposed to be here's the brand, here's the product, let me find the audience who wants it and sell to them and share to them the product. But when you already have a well established niche, brand, market, audience, once you change the product or once you change the way the product is conveyed, you've actually just changed your brand identity. Jaguar is a very good example of that too. Jaguar lost their plot. Like they lost their plot. They went from like sleek, classic, high end to this like I don't even know what Jaguar did. I don't even know. But it actually you changed the brand. You change the brand. You think you're changing your marketing, you're not. You're changing your brand. Because you changed what the brand stands for. You changed what the people expected. And that's not marketing. Marketing is just like, hey, this is what we've got. Let me tell you about it. And so, yeah, yeah. I don't know American Eagle jean commercial, I don't think.
That's the one where it was Sydney Sweeney, and then everyone got all upset because they were saying eugenics and whatnot, and she didn't apologize or anything because that was not the intention of the commercial. But it was more of a like right left side
Mm.
fight. And then Levi's responded by saying, "We have jeans in all different sizes and colors." And it was a whole thing, it was a whole battle over jean commercials. I was like, it's just jeans. But yeah.
Right. It's like there's certain things that are like integral to your brand that if you change them, it's not going to work. Or if you don't change them, you might lose out. Like Kodak was that. I don't know if you guys remember Kodak. They're like kind of the cautionary tale in business seminars and discussions about how you do have to adapt and change with the times because they didn't adapt to the ongoing technology and they were a technology brand. And so they wanted to remain like true to what they knew and the world progressed and they didn't. And now they're gone, you know? And so there is a time to like stay true to what you know, but you do have to like make sure there's still a demand for that sort of a thing. That's as far as like branding and companies are concerned. So I guess the thing really is if crowds decide success, again, it's not crowds so much as sales, as far as like marketing and businesses are concerned. But who decides what the success markers are? Um, it's very hard for me to think about something that's not money related, quite frankly, because money is like the success of the world. It's like, did you make money on this? Like so many people like, and there's something to it. Your net worth and your network go hand in hand. More money where there's more people. You impacted more people, and the money demonstrates that a lot of the time, right? Like that is a true statement of fact. There's that component of things. So it's like, the more you have of people, a lot of times the more you will actually make, you know. But I think if the crowd decides success, the only reason the crowd decides success is because it's like, what are they paying for?
Makes me think of tattooing actually and the price of them. It's very expensive. It's great money on my end, right? But it's what people are told are is cool right now, and it's like it's a huge cultural thing now, right? It's so yeah, it's it's interesting for sure. It's what you deem worthy of essentially the hours you've worked, your time, and what you're spending your money on.
Because everything's a trade-off. And so it comes down to like, where do you find worth and value? Like I see it now a lot. I can't help but see it now when I'm like in a store and I'm like, God, you are spending your hard-earned money to poison yourself and your family. And you're happy about it. It's like so hard for me now to go to the grocery store because I'll look at people's carts laden with just Mountain Dew and cookies and everything, and I'm just like, oh God, like they don't even know what they're doing. And like, and they're working their asses off to make this money for their family. And for what? Like, so it is hard when you know more, for sure, that, you know. Um, or even like, oh, people don't think at all. It's not even that they don't think critically, they don't think at all. They just feel. They don't think. That's the whole point of marketing is get to their emotions. People buy emotionally. So get to their emotions. They don't think about it. You don't want the consumer to think. You want them to feel because feeling opens their wallets faster. Oh, I have to have this. I have to have it. Here's take my money. Take my money. Take it, take it, take it. Or like they're scared, right? They're scared. Like, oh, I have to go get the COVID shot. I have to because oh my God, oh my God. Right. It's so it's why I
Or do
say like go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say, or do you ever think about like the people when some new product, like they will literally camp outside in the rain over Black Friday, and that's always been crazy to me.
Cult behavior for sure. Or a lot of times people do it for their kids because don't make any mistake, they love to market to your children because now as a parent, you're sort of helpless. Like you want to get that for your kid, right? I remember my mom and I, when Harry Potter came out, I wanted to get it when it released, and it released at like 11 o'clock at night back when that was like a thing that happened. And we were there. I think she like took off work because she worked night shift to bring me, right? And like it's not just the things that people want for themselves. A lot of the times it's the things that like their family wants. I think we forget how much people are people pleasers. Right. I saw something about that, how all the sugary, nasty cereals have those characters whose eyes point downward to where your children would be walking. Right. They put them on like the bottom shelf where the kids are. They put things on like eye level. They put like the top shelf stuff nobody's looking at. A lot of the times they want to sell you the crap that's cheaper. And so it really is like the people who sell things do not want you to make informed decisions. They want you to make emotional decisions. It's part of the big reason why like I fail every marketing thing every time. And all the coaches try to tell me like do it this way, do it this way. And I'm like, no, I won't do it. No, you won't be able to unsee it once you see it. It is deviously devised. It's so smart. I mean, when I hear, except I study now, marketing, business, all these things, and 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 it works. The frameworks work. I know it does. I do. Don't let them off the phone with you until you get their credit card. I know it works. Any of you have ever been on a coaching call with me, you know I never do it. I'm like, don't. Take 24, 48 hours to think about it. Ask your husband, ask your wife. I always will do it the opposite way because it is not like it's don't let them leave, don't let them out of it, keep them in it. No, no, I'm not I don't like a forced captive audience. Everything is designed to manipulate us. There's nothing that's not designed to manipulate us. Everything is designed to manipulate us. Everything is designed to get our money. And so again, I don't know how much the crowd decides success or what success is. Right, the Disney commercials, yeah, Disney is the best marketer. Disney is selling you hope. Like Disney is selling you fantasy made real. Disney's selling you the best deceits. The best lie is Disney. Very good. So impressive. Right, right, right. This is why we are called to be intentional, thinking, led by the Lord, renewing our mind, because it really is like, to be quite honest, like the success of the people is not really many people's concern. They don't really want you successful. Right, yeah. I've seen something talking about fluorescent lights in department stores to create anxious feelings, quick emotional buys. Yes, that's a thing. That's a real thing. Um, you move from the warm lighting to the harsh fluorescence, doctor's offices, now all the Walmarts. Now the whole city of San Francisco, I think, is completely, or LA maybe, they completely changed to LED lighting. And if you've ever had like LED lights come up behind you, Cybertruck or just someone with really bright lights, you get anxious, you want to move out of the way. Like it is a very real thing. Um, I will tell you right now, like I don't have any LED lights in like my rooms, in my kitchen only, because in the kitchen it makes sense in my head. Business psychology is a real thing. Yes, it is. Such a real thing. Um, yeah. Yeah. Business psychology. Everybody should study business psych and find out how manipulated you are for like 87% of the things that are in your house. There's certain, see, I wish I paid more attention. There's certain, it's not genres, like not fields, but there's certain like pockets of audience that if you always sell to, you will never, no, I don't want to know, right? Ignorance is bliss, right? Um, there's certain, I don't even remember what it is. How do I even look this up? It's like pockets of people that if you sell to, you will never lack for money. It's like if you sell beauty to women, if you sell sex to men, if you sell, I don't remember. There's like six things. I forget what they are. Let's see. If you sell beauty to women, sex to men, I wish I could remember this. It has to be somewhere. Aha. You'll never grow, there it is. You'll never go broke if you sell to men's lust, women's desire for beauty, elderly's health, children's education, rich people's fear of loss, poor people's desire to get rich quick. Understand human nature and you'll always find a way to succeed. Right, genius. They do such a great job of making women hate themselves to try to buy all these makeups to cover up their faces and their bodies and everything. Yeah, of course. The way you sit in the office, office layouts, everything can be manipulated. Yes. Everything, 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 everything. Like, this is why finding out people's intentions are so important. Like, what is the intention of you talking to me right now? I have now just started doing that. Like, what is the intention of this interaction? An easy one is men, right? Why are you talking to me? 9 out of 10 times it's because they're attracted to me and they want to try to like get an opening. And they will do anything to do it. They'll step in my path, they'll circle around the block, they will write me about how pretty I am, they'll write me about how smart I am, they'll write me about like all of it. Like, it's just this morning, I'm not kidding, I'm on a 3 mile run, mile two. I'm disgusting. It's 90 degrees. I'm disgusting. And I see I'm here, position myself intentionally, guy down, coming, positioned himself here. I look down, running. I look up. He's now moved here. I move here as we're crossing, and he stops. I keep running because I'm not interested in this discussion. And it's really like, I'm not open to your advances. I'm in the middle of something. And so it comes down to, what is your intention all the time? When someone reaches out to me on Facebook, I'm like, are you trying to sell me something? 9 times out of 10, yes, they are. When you cut right to the chase and you ask them, okay, what's your offer? What's your product? They're like, oh, well, no, I'm not trying to like share. I'm like, yes, you are, though. Yes, you are. Right? So everybody is selling something. Everybody wants something. And that's not to be cynical, you just have to find the people who want the best for you because they serve the Lord. There's not a lot of those. They're the lesser. That's why we need to be more of it, right? Because when our heart's in the right place and we're working to the Lord, and there by the grace of God go we, our slates are clear. Lord knows our hearts. We're doing the best we can with what we've got. For the brethren, it will be the opposite of what the world does. They're trying to manipulate, you're trying to share. They're trying to take, you're trying to give. They're trying to get profits, you're trying to help people. Um, there's a whole movement of like kingdom business and how we do business differently as kingdom people. So it's there in the marketplace. It does exist. It's just less the people. Less the people. And I will say too, which we didn't bring up because, philosophy hour, we don't want to talk too much about it. But since we're over philosophy hour time, I will just bring it up. These things, like, do people shape culture? Off the necessity survive? Does the crowd decide success? Ultimately, like, the Lord blesses the things he's pleased with, but Satan also blesses the things he's pleased with. And so you always just have to get good at looking at like, what's the intention here? And looking deeper, right? Like, at your cereal, if it has more than 6 ingredients, please don't buy it. Like, 6 ingredients is like the max anything should be having. 5 ingredients or less, basically, right? Like, judge every interaction based on tone, intent, approach. Approach is a big one. But yeah, I mean, it is a very predatory world. I don't know how to say it nicer than that. And so, can authenticity survive in a predatory world? Yes, it can. Does it need the grace of God and like people who are attracted to that? Also, yes. Also, yes. To this final point that I'm looking at here, what are the success metrics, right? Like, if the crowd decides success, like, who makes the metrics? There's certain things too, like, people need. People need clothes, people need housing, people need to eat, people need entertainment, like people need stuff for their kids, like people, there's things that people need too, right? Like, so there's a big difference between like selling what people need versus selling what people want. And like right now, that line has been very blurred because like when you treat bread as something that people want and price it like it's a luxury when it's a necessity, like we're going to have some real problems, right? And that was the Great Depression and that was the recession and like things come back. But yeah, no, it is the world is not getting better, you know. The world's not getting better. And there's a good way to do business and there's a not good way to do business. But best thing I ever did was learn about business, quite frankly. I learned a lot about the world when I learned about business. Other thoughts on do people shape culture? Does culture shape people? Can authenticity survive when success depends on the approval of the masses? Or if the crowd decides success, who decides what the success markers are? Or is everybody too depressed to say anything?
I'm here trying to figure out what cereal has less than 6 ingredients. None, right?
None. You probably won't find any.
Just eat an egg.
Oh, I don't eat cereal, but now for sure I won't.
Yeah, no, you will not. There's a reason they say stick to the perimeters of the grocery store. Don't go down the aisles. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Don't go down the aisles. Because there's not a lot of good stuff there for you, quite frankly. Um, but yeah, no, these are good. These are good. These are good questions. Right, the aisles are the main thing. That's why I stay out of them. Stay out of them. Stay out of them. They're trying to sell you a whole bunch of crap you don't need in the aisles. Literally, watch the aisles. Tell me how much you actually need in there. Getting canned vegetables when there are raw vegetables. Coffee is in those aisles. Coffee is in those aisles. That is true. But usually at the end. Usually right at the front. You just get it and go real quick. You don't even need to go down the aisle. You don't even need to traverse the whole aisle. It's just right there at the end. At least the K cups with my like Starbucks K cups, they're always almost right at the end. I never even have to go in an aisle because I try to do the perimeter trick. I mean, and then like, beauty and HBA and stuff is in there, but like and cat food and stuff, but like try to not even step foot in the aisles, right? Well, yeah, pickups are pickups are a thing post-COVID world. That is true. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, deception's way worse in America, mostly because of corporate greed here. A lot of things are banned in other places. Everybody's got better eating. In like the European countries, a lot of them do actually care about their citizens. America's citizens, not really. Now, maybe with like RFK, like it may be, but historically, no, no, no. It's been profits over people. But in other places, like there's a reason that they're all skinnier. There's a reason they're all healthier. Like there's a reason that Americans are obese and sick and depressed, anxious. Like a lot of it has to do with what we put in our systems, what we buy, what we think is important. Yeah, everybody's life expectancy is longer because they're not set up in systems that want to kill them. Want them weak and stupid and fat and lazy. and addicted to their products. But ultimately, to the final point, I don't think that anyone caters to what the culture really wants. I think they produce what they want to produce and find a way to sell it to the people most of the time. Or at least that's kind of historically been the way. In the last, like, I don't know, last little bit, we're starting to get to like, buy this pair of shoes, we'll donate a pair of shoes, or buy this water and we'll plant a well in Uganda. Like, there is some philanthropic things happening in like the last maybe 5, 10 years or so, but sort of historically, not so much. Like, not entirely, you know. But, but yeah, so the philosophy here, a little bit of a business philosophy, modern day reality more so than philosophy, but that's okay. We talk about whatever makes life life. I'm here for it. Um, but please, yeah, check the intentions of all the things all the time. All the things all the time. Because people be wild. Companies be wild. This is why I say all the time, like, be careful where you tithe your time and energy and attention and money to. You want to support things that are like God allowed things. This is why, like, you want to support small businesses. Like, you want to try to do the things, you know? I know that's hard. It's a whole lifestyle shift. A lot. It is. It's countercultural. You're fighting the Babylonian culture. That's true. Yes. Yes. And so now, like me saying God will let me win the lottery because I can't tithe. Yeah, yeah, lottery. Well, lottery is wild. Lottery is wild. Lottery is a wild situation. You know, I think it's like 90% of lottery winners go broke in like the first 5 years. I mean, because like you don't have the character to steward the money. So the you're the same person that won the money. It's gonna go. You're gonna spend it on a whole bunch of crap that is not gonna make you more money, right? Very few people get a whole bunch of money and like, ooh, let me get educated on how to spend this well so that my money makes more money. It's like nobody does that. Everybody's like, ooh, let me just buy 1,000 things now. And oh, I don't have any money to pay for it in 5 years. Like it's like 90 or 95% of lottery winners go broke. And so your character really does change the game. Like your character changes the game. And so all that to say, be authentic. It really does pan out in the end. It really does. Um, don't let the people lie to you. It does pan out. It just takes longer to pan out. And like, look at Joseph, right? Joseph was authentic. Joseph was a good steward. Took him 17 years, but he was well established, like a father to Pharaoh. Yeah, as far as what gambling is, I think that that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Because everything in life is a gamble. Everything's a risk. I think there's no greater gamble than having children. There's not really that much of a great gamble in like marriage. So like some of the greatest gambles you're gonna do. So we can call it gambling. Everything's a risk in this life. We can call it an investment. But like I said, we are not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this later. Other than that, anything else for the good of the order? Great questions, Tanya. I think great questions. I appreciate you bringing them up. As always, if you guys have life questions that you want to talk about, bring them. Bring them. If not, I will supply them, but bring them so we can talk about these hard but important things that make us think differently. And we do want to think differently. We want to think deeper. We want to think critically. Other than that, though, if you're coming Jeremiah tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Coming to Topical Study, I'll see you Friday at 7. If you're coming to Coffee and Chat, I'll see you 11 a.m. If you're coming Jeremiah on Sunday, I'll see you on Sunday. Hopefully, everybody's not too depressed. Just remember, there by the grace of God go we. Okay? Even though the world is crusty, our Father is very good, and He's already overcome the world. So you just stick close to Him, and it will pan itself out. So you just, there by the grace of God go we. But we do want to be aware of the system and the enemy and how it all operates. Other than that, though, if you need me, shoot me a DM. Ciao, fam.